Hi, how you doing? Hope you guys are doing good. We're going to be doing a timeless reading. If you don't want to see the astrology portion, I'm going to have the tarot portion timestamped in the comment section below. But that said, I have the charts and transits right next to me. Excuse me, apparently I'm not speaking well today. So first and foremost, we are currently in, well, the actual peak of the lunar eclipse isn't until tomorrow. Well, I don't even know. I think it's like 3:35 p.m. Eastern time or something. I don't know. Whenever it is, we are in the midst of the full moon leading up to the closing of eclipse season. We are also in Scorpio season. We have a lot of crazy energies today. Just look at the placements alone. We have Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Aries, which is a full moon. Well, it's coming up on a full moon. Mercury's in Scorpio, Mars is in Scorpio, Venus is in Virgo, so it's no longer in Leo. A lot of really deep, intense, fiery, passionate energy. This is quintessential eclipse. Like, this is like, I don't even know how to put it. It's just like we're reaching that precipice of the huge, it's like the fireworks or something. I don't know if you're at an event and there's fireworks for the end of the event. That's what that feels like to me. It's intense, and I'm having trouble even communicating it because it's so much going on. But let's take a look at the transits. So most notably, we have Sun conjunct Mercury, we have Sun conjunct Mars, we have Sun opposing Jupiter. We also have the Moon squaring Pluto, Mercury conjunct Mars, Mercury opposing Jupiter. I'm really interested to take a look at the Sun and, what was it, Mercury opposing Jupiter. Jupiter, I want to say, what is it in right now? It's still retrograde, it is in Taurus, and Sun and Mercury are also in Scorpio. The axis of Taurus is Scorpio, so they are essentially opposite of each other on the astrological wheel, which is really interesting because we have that opposition energy. It's kind of, how do you even put this? Because like when Jupiter is retrograde, that's the time where you kind of take that period of slowing down before making any big decisions. But with this opposition that we have going on, especially with the moon sextile Saturn, and given the fact that we are in eclipse season and the moon is squaring Pluto, it's like this is that final release, man. So this is one of those things where I feel like you're about to, how do I put this? It's like you're about to move. This is the, I've noticed I've started getting visions when I'm doing these readings, or the astrological portion. I can't speak, excuse me. I haven't spoken all day, so apologies if I'm speaking not normal. But I'm getting a vision of you moving, right? So this is the energy where you're about to move. You're putting a lot of things into action. I mean, you're getting everything ready at the new place. You're packing everything up at the old place. You're getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and that's the energy I'm seeing here. Jupiter in retrograde is that energy of preparation before you make that big jump. Okay, so if we're looking at this in terms of love and relationships, given Virgo is now in, Venus is now in Virgo, there's a lot of, I don't know, there's like a more serious energy to your relationships. Whereas in the past we did have Leo Venus and it was in retrograde. Remember, we went through that whole period of just a lot of intense, crazy, karmic clearing in terms of relationships, but also just clearing patterns. It doesn't have to be clearing karmic relationships when we had that whole retrograde going on. But the fact that we do have Venus in Virgo, I think, is kind of what's really grounding a lot of this really intense scorpionic energy. Right? I have a Scorpio stellium. Most notably, I have a Scorpio moon. I'm very familiar with Scorpio energy. I have a Scorpio Pluto. So it's like I'm really familiar with the deep, intense, watery emotions that do come with scorpionic energy. And that's a lot of what we're facing right now, especially with the moon being in Aries. And with the eclipse, it's that kind of like, this is that make or break moment, I feel like, in your relationship, where you may have just come out of that. There may have been a period in your relationship where things kind of, with eclipse season, have maybe come to a head. And there was kind of this decision about whether or not you two wanted to take things to that next level, or whether you two wanted to just kind of put things to rest, or whether you're just starting a new cycle, ending another one, right? We do have the moon squaring Pluto. And so it's one of those things where it's like you're really at this precipice of your relationship, not just your relationship, but the relationships surrounding that relationship. And what I mean by that is you're kind of now starting to really see the stark difference between if you're, let's say you're in union with your person, you're going to start to notice a lot of the major differences between you and your connection and people in your separate individual lives, right? And given the fact that we are closing out this eclipse season, you're going to start to notice things lightening up between you and your person if they have not already. I do feel like eclipse season is really amazing time for us to enter new cycles, like leaving behind old cycles for good and then entering those new cycles, right? And so, because we're what, maybe about halfway through the astrological year. From my understanding, the astrological year starts when we move back into, I want to say Aries season. There's like, no, I think it's like seasonal the way I'm thinking about it, kind of aside from the point. But yeah, so it's one of those things, men, where there's going to be a lot of forward movement and action taken in your relationship. If it hasn't already begun, there are a lot of fated events in your external lives, and I guess, triggering internal reflections that are allowing you to see things clearly in order to make important decisions moving forward in your relationship. So I'm going to go and leave it there. We're going to hop into the Torah portion. If you want to book a personal reading, subscribe to Patreon, or listen to my music, all of that's in the description. I will never contact you for a reading in any way, shape, or form. The only way to book a reading with me is to DM me on Instagram or send me an email. Keep in mind, these readings are timeless. Even though it is timeless, we are technically in the midst of our final eclipse, closing out eclipse season. If you want to hear about any of that, that's in the astrological portion. We talked quite a bit about that. We're going to be doing just a regular reading. So we're going to be using the Book of Thoth. I didn't actually think about which decks. I just have these two decks sitting here. So we'll go ahead and clarify with the Ethereal Visions Luna Edition. So let's go ahead and tap in. I hope you guys are doing good. We have a few cards that already came out. Hope everybody's feeling good. This eclipse energy is intense. I'd recommend just grounding yourself. If you're finding yourself triggered, if you're finding yourself processing a lot of old patterns and releasing a lot of things, this is the time for you to really take stock of where you're at mentally and emotionally before making any big decisions for your life or relationships. Okay, so first card out, we have a lot of cards that came out, but the one that fell on my lap is the Ace of Cups. So this is the time to give to yourself. Knight of Cups, right? I feel like this is like, in order for you to really enjoy this new phase of this relationship, you have to kind of learn to be able to give to yourself, right? And that's not to say that your person can be somebody to give to you or provide you with, happy emotions and all of the fun, loving stuff that you would get out of a relationship like it that is coming out, because we have the Ten of Cups, we have the Ace of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, and the Empress. So something really big is moving forward. I feel like it's going from a space of planning to action, and the reason I say so is because we have the Knight of Cups and we have the Ace of Pentacles under that. Okay, so there may have been a period in this relationship where things were kind of stalled. I feel like there was a period of reflection. We have the Queen of Pentacles. There's a period of trying to understand how to put this plan into action. I feel like this might have to do with the person you're dealing with. Given the fact that we have the Empress here, if you do resonate with divine feminine energy, it doesn't have to be gender specific. We do all have feminine and masculine energies within us. And the types of relationships I read for tend to help us unify those energies within us and balance them. And I feel like this is what this relationship is here to teach you, is to it's to really ask you to lean into your feminine energy. So if you're somebody who finds yourself maybe overextending or trying to be the one putting in all, I wouldn't even say putting in all the effort, because that would just negate the efforts of your person. But if you find yourself taking initiative more often than not without leaving that space for your person to also take the initiative, this is that time to release that pattern, right? And that's kind of why I'm seeing with this Ace of Pentacles and this Knight of Cups, because you're stepping into this, divine feminine energy. You're really leaning back. You're really giving to yourself. You're really in a space of understanding the importance of balance. Sorry, there's like a little feather floating by me. Really learning to lean into the balance of your feminine and masculine energies. I can't seem to hold these cards for the life of me. Yeah, but that's why I feel like there's this new phase in the relationship. We often talk about phases and cycles, and I feel like as I'm doing these readings, we do them about once a week at this point. We are essentially watching new cycles end and begin with each week, right? So this could just be a cyclical thing. The planets do move through their own associations throughout the week, repeating every 7 days. And so that's why I feel like we do this on the day of Venus. Friday is the day of Venus, ruled by Aphrodite. If you want to go into all that kind of stuff, I do have her visage right there. But aside from the point, I feel like you guys are entering this new phase of the relationship because you're allowing your person to take that initiative. It's one of those things where I feel like as soon as you make that decision to pour into yourself, not at the detriment of the relationship. See, keep in mind there's like a balance. There's a fine line between pouring into yourself and taking the time you need, but also like respecting your person's needs and understanding that there will need to be some sort of kind of give and take. And so it's one of those things where it's like giving to yourself, but not out of selfishness, but out of selflessness for the relationship, and moving things into what I would imagine is looking like a new phase. We have the Ace of Cups, we have the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles. These are all really amazing cards, right? This is both of you being on the same page, having the same goals, having the same values, wanting the same things. Both of you really nurturing the relationship. And I feel like because you're nurturing yourselves and you're nurturing the relationship, you're creating this really healthy space for both of you to explore possibly just a lot of difficult emotions, right? The Five of Swords. Exploring, giving yourselves it's like allowing yourselves to feel difficult emotions. Not judging your person or them not judging you for having these phases and going through these times in your life where you're healing a lot of different things. You're letting go of a lot of different things, and that's what eclipse season here is to teach us, right? So we have Five of Swords, we have Seven of Swords, we have the Prince of Cups, Seven of Wands, Queen of Swords, Two of Swords, Four of Swords. A lot of swords energy. We have 2, 4, 5, 7 swords and the Queen of Swords. I'm just seeing like a progression, right? I feel like you're overcoming some sort of major blockage in this relationship. What I'm feeling like here, I feel like this is somebody who, they're not necessarily showing you exactly what they're planning, but I feel like this is somebody who's about to, it could be recognize you publicly. I mean, Six of Wands can be seen as public recognition and public success. I feel like this is somebody here who wants to make it known that they do love you and they do want you. If they haven't already done so, this is somebody who has essentially worked through, right? This is what I'm seeing here. We have the Queen of Swords. I feel like this can represent your person that you're dealing with here. They've moved from the Two of Swords, clearing any blockages. And now they're in a space of really kind of deep reflection, understanding any mental blockages that may have kept them in a place of not knowing what to do. We can see the Seven of Swords as a negative thing, but honestly, with Tarot and the way I read the cards, the energy goes both ways. The same way you can look at planets, you have the shadow aspects and the beneficial aspects. This just as you have the retrogrades, it's that very same energy with Tarot where you can look at it how the cards are influencing that. And what I'm seeing with this progression, I'm seeing somebody here who has really taken the time to understand what it was that was holding them back on a mental level. I feel like this is somebody who gets really stuck in their head and gets in their own way, possibly even stopping themselves short before taking that leap. This is somebody who is no longer wanting to keep this a secret. They're no longer wanting to. This could also be somebody who is maybe just kind of lying to themselves or maybe denying the intensity of the feelings that they have for you. Right? I feel like that's kind of like a past energy this person has worked through. And I feel like the reason they're able to do this is because you allowed yourself that time and space to heal your own wounds, right? With these types of relationships, when you do come together into union with a divine partner like this, you're oftentimes going to reflect a lot of difficult things back to each other. And that's going to allow you to work past any blockages. And that's what I'm seeing. And I feel like a conversation needs to be had about that. And so I'm seeing a couple of different things. I'm seeing somebody here who, again, wants to make their love known. I feel like they may have already done this or they are in the process of doing this. They could just be dropping hints here and there. They may not be fully communicating the full extent of their plans, but what I'm seeing is this is somebody who is no longer wanting to hold back vital information surrounding your place in their life or vice versa. I feel like this is somebody who sees you very clearly now. If they haven't seen you clearly before, they see you clearly now. They see you as the person they want to spend their life with. They see you as the person that can provide the nurturing, that can provide the stability, that can provide the honesty and the transparency that often goes into cultivating healthy relationships in the divine realm, if you want to call it that. Let's go ahead and clarify this Six of Wands and the Prince of Cups. I feel like this is somebody who's in a really playful energy, somebody who's just kind of, yeah, we have the Princess of Cups. This is somebody who, it's like you guys are both in this energy. These are two counterparts right here. I feel like it's really interesting to me because it's like an energy where you can see the prince and the princess as, it's like you're both awakening a sense of inner child playfulness in each other. That's what I'm seeing, right? And the Five of Cups and the Queen of Wands. This is somebody who's no longer focusing on those three spilled cups, right? It doesn't necessarily depict this in this deck because this deck is made specifically to be different. But what I am seeing here is this is somebody who is really no longer focusing on what hasn't worked. So that's what I'm feeling like is being let go of in this relationship. The reason you guys are both entering this new phase is because it's like you guys are leaving behind that heartbreak energy. And I don't feel like that has to do between you two. Eight of Cups and the Three of Swords. I feel like there was some sense of heartbreak that was keeping this person from fully opening up. And I feel like you being in this playful energy and being in this nurturing feminine energy is allowing this person the space to heal and feel safe. And I feel like you're providing them with that safety, right? The Queen of Wands, I feel like that's like feminine intuition and wisdom and guidance, right? That to me is somebody who is really deep in their purpose. When I see the Queen of Wands, that is somebody who is can be very attractive, can be very, just have a lot of eyes on them in general. And what I'm feeling like is like there's just a lot of different people who may want to try to get in the way, or try to not even necessarily get in the way, but maybe try to insert themselves where they don't belong. And I feel like all of that's kind of being just ignored. I feel like this is your person essentially shutting all of that down. And so if there have been people that you have been concerned about maybe trying to get in between you and your person, I see your person shutting that down completely. However, I also see you doing that as well. What I'm seeing here with the two, what do you call these? The two counterparts, that playful energy. These are two people who like, they want to protect each other. They want to protect the relationship. They don't want to let past heartbreaks get in the way of really embracing this beautiful relationship that you two are building together. It looks like a very fun time. I feel like there was a lot of dissonance and there was a lot of just conflict and there was a lot of intense energy that you were both going through in this eclipse season. And we talked about this in the last reading, you know, there was a lot of individual things you were working through, and as you were coming back together, loving each other properly, you were helping each other heal that. But now what I'm seeing is like all of that's kind of coming to a close, especially now that we're kind of in the end of eclipse season. We're reaching that precipice, we're reaching that final moment of release, all of these fated events coming through to help us heal some really deep wounding on both ends surrounding past relationships. I don't feel like this is anything that has to do between you two in particular. Again, I feel like this is you two possibly triggering things in each other to heal in order for this relationship to come together and stay together. Right? We have the Chariot under that, and we have Justice, and then we have the Six of Cups. Okay, so this is somebody who's thinking really fondly about you. I don't feel like this is somebody who is second-guessing the relationship anymore. I don't feel like this is somebody who is even really second-guessing themselves anymore. I feel like this is somebody who has used their past disappointments to regain their confidence. With the Six of Cups, I feel like this is somebody who has been thinking about a way to bring this back into a healthier space. But more than anything, I feel like this is somebody who just wants to, it's like they want to be the one to provide that balance for you, right? It's so this, if this is somebody who hasn't caused you any particular issues, you just have your own things that you've been through. This is somebody who is not happy to see what you've been through. It's somebody who is so protective of you that they get frustrated knowing that you have been through particular things, or knowing that certain people have treated you particular ways. And so if you ever notice that this person may be a little bit, not even aggressive, but defensive, it's not towards you. It's because I think this person is frustrated to know. Like, it's like as they see your pain and your struggle, as you see each other's pains and struggles, this person becomes very frustrated at the fact that you were treated poorly, whether that's by your family or friends or ex-partners. This is somebody who really wants to protect you. And I don't feel like this is, I bet you they're not going to force their protection on you. I feel like this is somebody who's going to let you open up when you're ready, but they're not. This isn't somebody who's going anywhere. This isn't somebody who is gonna sit here and treat you like you're broken or damaged. This is somebody who likely has the same wounding as you and understands what you've been through. Not just sees it, but understands it because they've experienced it and they have felt it. And I feel like you both have reflected that back to each other with the Six of Cups and the Justice and the Chariot. And I feel like this person wants to be the one to help you trust and love again. And I feel like that goes both ways, right? We have the Princess of Pentacles, and then we have the Ten of Cups under that, and we have the Tower. We have Strength. We have the Emperor. We'll leave that there. I don't even think you see this coming. I don't think, like, again, I feel like this is somebody who is really about to put a major plan into action, especially with the Tower and the Ten of Cups and the Strength and the Emperor. Like, this is just straight up, like, if you resonate with the divine masculine energy, whether or not this you or somebody that you're dealing with, this is that masculine energy here, putting that plan into action. And I don't feel like you see this coming. I feel like they've probably kept a lot of things hidden for a reason, right? The Seven of Cups and the Hanged Man, right? And I feel like that's because this person, they could just worry about, how do I even put this? This is somebody who knows that because you are so sensitive, even really good things can be triggering for you. Because keep in mind, like, when you're in these kinds of connections, when you do receive love, if you're not used to receiving love and affection in your life, that can also be very triggering. This can be something where you're kind of looking at yourself right now. You're looking at your own resistance to being open to receiving. And I feel like this person sees that, and they want to be patient with you. They understand that you have a lot of trust issues. They understand that you have been through a lot in your life. They understand that you did not gain this wisdom by not going through difficult periods of your life. And I feel like this is somebody who wants to be that strength for you. They want to be the person. It's like they want to be your knight in shining armor, is what I'm hearing. They want to be that person that really, supports you, whether that's emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, however that looks for you, or what you're looking for, or what your dynamic is. This is somebody who wants to be that for you. And I feel like this is partially why this person has been kind of giving bits and pieces, about what their intentions are in terms of, like, the next steps in the relationship. I don't feel like this is a question of whether you're with this person. This situation that I've been reading for has been spanning over probably a month or so, 2 months or so, and we've watched this beautiful progression of two people coming together. And then from there, we're watching these people work through their own issues, coming back together and loving each other properly. And now we're watching the next steps in this relationship. That's kind of tailing off of the last reading we did, was making plans for the future, was the title. And from what I'm seeing now, this is somebody who is taking the initiative within themselves, as the masculine in this connection, to be able to show up as the masculine in this connection. And I feel like that's because, again, you've allowed them that space to embody that energy. And what I often find in connections like these, although we do have, feminine and masculine energies, you will tend to find yourself a little more or less comfortable in either or. And a lot of the times you will come together with somebody that's going to help you elevate the one that you feel less comfortable in. So if you're somebody who tends to operate really heavily in feminine energy, somebody may come into your life, a masculine perhaps, that will help you kind of integrate your own masculine energy and vice versa, right? And that's where the healing comes in, and that's where the mutual support comes in. And so if there was a phase in this relationship where you felt like things were unbalanced, I don't feel like that was for the detriment of the relationship. I feel like this is somebody here who they have their own set of skills, intuitive insights, and wisdom that complement yours. And so that's not to say that you don't have that, you know, as a feminine, if you resonate with that energy, but it's to say that the masculine insight into these types of connections is also, it's just as valuable as the feminine insight. And so what I'm seeing we have counterparts. We have the Emperor and we have the Empress. And so I'm seeing two people here that are now understanding each other on a really deep level. Okay, these are two people who now understand the nature of the relationship and how they complement each other in a way that other relationships would never compare. So this isn't something where somebody's trying to weigh their options about, do I go this way, do I go this way? This is somebody who is like, I want to be with this person. What do I have to do to make this happen? What do I have to heal within myself? What do I have to release in order to show up as a better partner for my counterpart, soulmate, twin flame, however you want to look at it? All right, let's get some final advice. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify with the, what do you call it, the ethereal visions. We did almost the whole reading, like pulling from the bottom of the deck. I don't always do that, but sometimes I do. That's just how I read. Let's go ahead and clarify, or just whatever wants to come out. This looks like a really great energy here. Like, this looks like somebody who really wants to come in and prove to you how seriously they take you if they haven't already done so. And I feel like this is somebody who's doing it in increments. This is somebody who, again, understands your sensitivities and understands that they have to be gentle with you. They have to treat you differently than they may have treated karmic partners or past partners or friends or family. They understand that you require to be loved in a different way that they may be used to. But because you both need to be loved in a different way that you may be used to, that's allowing you guys to understand yourselves on a deeper level, to be able to give that love in a way that makes sense to both of you. So let's go ahead and get some clarity here. So yeah, bottom of the deck we have the Ten of Cups. We have the Ten of Cups twice, which I think is beautiful. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Swords again. We have the Hierophant, and then we have the Star. This is really amazing. So I feel like, yeah, so if at any point you were questioning this person's intentions, this is somebody who is just focused on their own abundance. This is somebody who was focused on their independence. And I feel like this person may have a fear that too much focus on independence, it's like they almost are feeling like, have I been too independent? I feel like this is like a masculine energy here who is like, maybe I've been too self-focused. I think now it's time for me to really put these plans into action. And I feel like this is because this is somebody here who is like, they wanted to do things the right way. I feel like this is somebody who was raised in a sense of like, if you don't succeed the first time, then you completely fail and you are a disappointment and a failure. But what I think you're teaching this person here is that it's okay to make mistakes. And I think that goes both ways. And I feel like that's why we have this Ten of Cups here, this very beautiful union energy that we have between two counterparts here. And I feel like you guys are both understanding that there's no need to be hyper independent in this relationship. I feel like you're both now learning how to rely on each other in a way that you may not have understood before. So these are two people that were very independent at one point. These are two people that were very just self-focused, not really paying too much attention to the world around them or the people around them, for better or for worse. And I feel like you two are coming together, and as you're doing that, that's also helping you foster a sense of community within your external lives. And so keep in mind, man, when you come together with a person like this, it's going to affect everybody around you. It's going to affect the world around you. It's a very intense energy when two people come together in this capacity. And that's kind of what I'm seeing. We're getting the repeating messages again. We got the Seven of Swords, we have the Ten of Cups. And so I feel like Spirit's really asking you to get very, very clear about your intentions moving forward. If you haven't already done so, I feel like Spirit is asking you to really let go of your own self-limiting beliefs about what you deserve and what you're capable of. I feel like this relationship is here to teach you what you can do opposed to what you can't do. So instead of focusing on like, oh, I have this trauma, and because I have this trauma, I can't open up in this way. Focus more so on, well, I understand that this is a difficult thing for me to process, but this person understands me in a way that allows me to show up as myself. And I feel like that's what you're both mirroring each other right now. Mirroring to each other, you're showing each other that it's okay to not be fully healed. It's okay to show up in whichever capacity you can, and that doesn't make you any less deserving of the love that you're giving to each other. Okay, I'm going to get some final clarity on these cards here and see what comes out. We do have repeating messages, so I could just end it here, but I like to get some final cards. Final cards here, because it looks like you two are really heading in a beautiful direction with the Star and the Hierophant. This is leading to, with the Ten of Cups, this is leading to the happy home, the happy marriage. This is leading to, I feel like things are getting really serious, and this is where you're starting to discuss living situation, you're starting to discuss finances, and I feel like that's kind of been the recurring theme for these past readings here. And I feel like this is somebody who's now thinking, including you in their plans. This isn't somebody who's just focused on what's going to be good for them. They're now focused on what's going to be good for the both of you in your relationship. And I feel like that goes both ways. I feel like this is somebody who considers you in a way that they have never considered anybody other than themselves, with the Wheel of Fortune. And I feel like that's because the universe is really showing this person that it's like Three of Cups, High Priestess, and the Three of Swords, that you don't have to do this alone. You can lean on this person. You don't have to be enmeshed. It doesn't have to be codependent. There is an ability to lean on another person and to find that sense of peace and healing through being loved, right? You don't have to have somebody constantly trigger you or be abusive in any way. This is somebody who I feel like understands how to love you properly. And sometimes that means letting you have that space to process what you need to process. And that's why I'm seeing the Three of Cups and the Three of Swords. That's that push and pull. This is that understanding that there's a deeper purpose to this relationship, more so than just coming together. This has long-lasting impacts for not only your futures, but for the futures of if you have children. This is going to be generational. You're healing generational wounds with this person. There are some really deep, intense spiritual lessons here. And I feel like because we are reading during the eclipse, these are all very fated events. And so we have a lot of reunion energy. This has been coming out in so many different readings, not just mine. These are a lot of people are coming together right now, coming into union, coming into reunion, coming out of the illusion of separation. These are people who are really learning to understand that the only thing holding each other back from each other was yourselves. And as you're releasing those blockages and as you're releasing those illusions, you're really coming together and not coming apart. That's kind of where I think I'm going to leave it, because it's like, this is just a fated thing here for you, and there's nothing you can really do to stop it or slow it down or speed it up. Happening in divine timing. Let things happen as they do. Continue to do what you've been doing, because it looks like you've been doing an amazing job. Congratulations. I'm going to leave it there. If you want to book a personal, subscribe to Patreon or listen to music in the description. I'm going to contact you for a reading. Happy full moon. Happy lunar eclipse. I love you. See you in the next reading. Goodbye.